The universe blinked out all across the galactic web trading ports. Orbital cities, warships, and pleasure satellites. Every screen, every holopad, every interface flickered black. No warnings, no encryption. Just sudden, eerie silence. Then came the voice. You touched Earth's people. Do you want extinction? It was a human voice. Cold, feminine, not yelling, but it cut like a monofilament blade through static, emotionless, absolute. On the Thalakari flagship Vorax Pride, Supreme Admiral Jareth barked orders at his bridge crew. Trace the source. Jam it, now. But nothing responded. The command lines were locked, overridden by an ancient Earth protocol no one had ever seen before. One by one, displays flickered to life. Not Thalakari propaganda, not coalition news, but images of the dead. Human civilians. Torched settlements. The ruins of Cygnus-9, Bodies-charred, twisted, many of them children. The feed panned across them, blood frozen in red arcs in the vacuum, lifeless fingers reaching toward shattered domes. The sound was gone. There was no music, no voice, over just that awful looping SLIDESHOW. And then the voice returned. 213 souls, non-combatants, settlers, artists, teachers, children. The holofeed changed again, now 2 names, line after line, age, occupation, time of death. They were ours, and you touched them, you ended them. In the coalition capital, the 9-legged Kravari delegates tried frantically to override the feed. Even their internal systems showed only one error message. Earth Command, Fury Protocol initiated. Back on the Thalakari bridge, Admiral Jareth's mandibles clicked with growing anxiety. It's a bluff. They don't have the fleet. We do not threaten war. The human voice interrupted, as if it hurt him. We threaten absence. Screens went dark again, but only for a moment. A massive human warship, dark as space, hovering over a dead planet. It had no visible engines, no visible weapons. Just a slowly rotating human insignia, glowing faintly blue, X-Gravemind. Beneath it, words etched into the void in blood-red text. One touch was enough. One planet was enough. We are coming. The panic didn't start immediately. It started when navigation charts updated themselves, erasing 12 Thalakari colonies, places no one knew were under attack. And yet, gone, not just destroyed, scrubbed. No comms, no debris, no escape signals. Just void. The Galactic Newsnet tried to spin it as a data corruption issue. But the freelance scavenger ships told a different story. They found empty planetary orbits, rings of ash, where worlds used to be. They've made stars go cold. I saw it. I saw a sun die. The next morning, in the Thalakari war chambers, their high strategist issued a formal statement. Earth's retaliation is disproportionate. We urge diplomatic resolution. But no answer came. This is not diplomacy. This is the price of arrogance. The cost of forgetting. The Thalakari's outer defense grid registered an incoming anomaly. No heat signature, no engine trails, no gravitational distortion, just silence. A scout ship was sent. It never came back. The Polaris Drift was a trade hub, nothing more than a cluster of orbital rings and solar harvester arrays orbiting the Thalakari colony of Vaktoon. It pulsed with life only a day ago. Now, dead. No distress call, no signs of battle. Not a single escape pod. Just drifting wreckage, smoothly cut as if dissected by something not meant to kill, but to erase. The Thalakari dispatched a retrieval team. Veteran soldiers, hardened war machines. They entered the silent station. Cameras, live. For 31 seconds, they reported nothing unusual. At second 32, the feed, glitched. At second 33, every soldier was gone. No screams, no alarms. Just a sudden void. A single line appeared across all coalition data streams. System Vaktoon cleansed. Scene cut. Coalition Intelligence Chamber, the Intergalactic Coalition's Strategic Intelligence Assembly sat in eerie silence. Holographic stars flickered in the darkened chamber as 23 systems slowly turned black on the galactic map, meaning no comms, no tracking, no trace of life. Admiral Vorsky, a crystalline life form from the Trillari fold, muttered through fractured facets. They're not waging war. They're redacting us. Another delegate, Char Vasai of the Malaris, snarled. This is fear. Humanity never had this capability. But then, Earth's next transmission hijacked the room. Not a video, not a threat, a sound, deep, metallic, low frequency, like an engine from another era, breathing machine, too large for the stars. Redacting is a kindness. Scene cut. The outpost on Mixer 3, Commander Krellin was on his 4th drink when the lights flickered and dimmed. Power grid failure. The engineer whispered, but the core was stable. Systems untouched. He stepped outside. The sky above Mixer 3 was wrong. It wasn't dark, it was too dark. The stars themselves seemed to vanish behind a moving shadow, a shape so colossal it blotted out constellations. Not moving fast, not loud, just inevitable. The Gravemind. Its hull seemed to ripple as it moved, reflecting no starlight, no markings. save one symbol, a glowing blue Earth with a blood-red slash through it. Then, oh, no missiles, no pulse weapons, no orbital cannons, just quiet. And in that silence, Mixer 3 ceased to exist. No fire, no debris, just ... gone. Scene cut. Thalakari War Council, they're using dark energy field suppression. One engineer barked, or quantum folding something we've never seen. No, whispered a human envoy, one of the last diplomats still allowed in coalition space. They're not using alien tech. He raised his eyes slowly, like a priest revealing sacred truth. They're using human grief. A dead planet slowly crumbling into black glass. A Thalakari destroyer caught mid-transity, merging from warp into nothing. Sensors showing the system deleted from the galactic registry. Civilian worlds. Going dark before dawn. Human ships that don't appear on radar but whose shadows flicker across moons. The Coalition Council's emergency meeting had no chairs. No formality, just fear. A blinking file had arrived on every major planetary network at the same time. No encryption, no attempt to hide. It was a list, just a list. 217 names, accountable. For the blood of Cygnus 9, High Strategist Lurkash of the Thalakari. Dominion was second on that list. He'd ordered the cleansing of Cygnus 9, under what he called a proactive suppression clause. He never expected the galaxy to care about a backwater human colony. Now he couldn't sleep. He couldn't eat, because every day another name was crossed off. Scene cut. A pleasure dome on Calcian Theta. Ambassador Grodel, of the Harkar Confederacy. 143 on the list was found dissolved in his own private anti-grav spa. The spa's AI logs played back only static. The guards had been found unconscious, with zero external injuries. Neural pathways scrambled like scrambled data. Grodel's last words. Transmitted over an open line just before he died. I was never even on Cygnus 9. I just signed the trade permits. Scene cut. A dreadnought ship in deep orbit. The Thalakari's 4th Fleet Commander Admiral Soren. Number 88, had been on high alert. Double shields. Internal guard drones. No biologicals permitted within 500 meters of his command bridge. He still died. His body was found slumped over the navigation console. A red-stained paper note pinned to his uniform with an antique human blade. The note simply read, "We do not forget." Back at Earth's UN military command deep, beneath Antarctic ice, no cheering, no gloating. Just cold, precise execution. A chamber of shadowed figures watched the crossouts on the list. In real time, each elimination was logged with a single sound, a tone, short, subtle. Final. Commander Nyla Reyes, the same voice from the broadcasts, stood at the center. Her cybernetic eye pulsed with faint blue light as she whispered, "We're only at 67. Stay the course." A junior officer hesitated. "Ma'am, some of the names weren't even military." Reyes turned. They signed orders. They profited from the slaughter. They lived while Earth grieved. She looked up at the star map where red lines slashed across systems. They made us choose between justice and annihilation. We chose both. Scene cut. A broadcast intercept across coalition space. Another hacked message played. The face of a Thalakari merchant appeared, bloodied, eyes wide. He was one of the 217. He screamed into the lens, "I'll pay anything. I'll go into exile." I didn't know what we were doing. Behind him, a figure emerged from the shadows clad in Earth's old Black Ops armor, with the UN crest half burnt off. No words were spoken, just the sound of a gun charging, and then, static. 216 remain. Visual suspense, red slashes through names like ancient executions. A coalition admiral throwing up in a briefing room as another name disappears. A planetary senator running through rain-drenched streets, chased by nothing visible but always hearing footsteps behind him. Human strike teams phasing in and out like ghosts. Faces masked, movements precise, unforgiving. The Kravari Prime diplomatic station stood as a symbol of interstellar unity. Flags from every major species floated under a crystalline dome. On the 11th day of Earth's silence, those flags began to fall. One by one, torn, burned, or replaced. With a single black banner, a blue Earth dripping crimson. The fracture begins. Coalition members began turning on one another. The Varkan hegemony accused the Thalakari of hiding the full details of the Cygnus 9 slaughter. The Malari withdrew their fleets from the shared borders. A dozen minor species filed emergency petitions to break alliance treaties, not because they sided with Earth but because they feared Earth more than they trusted the Thalakari. Scene cut. Refugee orbit platform over Zentari Ambast. A Cerny diplomat once advocated for neutrality in all wars, but now he stood in front of 4,000 Cerny citizens as Earth's latest message played across their emergency broadcast towers. The coalition watched as our children returned to Ashdod and said nothing. Silence is complicity. We will remember who chose neutrality over morality. That night, Ambassador Vanuva's delegation severed ties with the coalition. Earth's vengeance may be just, but their memory, it's eternal. Scene cut. Secret meeting on a drifting freighter. 7 species met in secret traces, who once warred with Earth a century ago, but had since signed peace accords. Now, they whispered again in dark corridors. I heard they've awakened the old AI from the Soul Vault, hissed the insectoid cracks diplomat. No, said the avian mult. Worse, they've built new ones. Ones that learn grief like humans do. One by one, they agreed. They would not oppose Earth. They would erase their own records of coalition support. They would shut down all tracking of human movements. And in return, they would pray Earth simply forgot they existed. Scene cut. High War Council internal divisions deepened. Fleet Marshal Drell called for immediate retaliation. We strike the Terran core worlds before they finish the list. But Grand Strategist Ulthar countered. Strike where? No FTL trails, no heat, no system pings. They're invisible. They don't invade, they arrive. Then, another signal interruption. A list update. Name 113 Ulthar's brother. Crossed off. He collapsed in silence. Drell said nothing. The room understood. Earth didn't need armies. It needed only names, and the galaxy was supplying them freely. Entire planetary militaries lowering their flags. Terrified their past interactions with the Thalakari would make them targets. Propaganda posters being ripped off walls replaced with crude sketches of the Gravemind ship drawn by children who'd dreamed of it. A panicked coalition senator live-streaming a plea to Earth. We didn't know. Please tell us what you want. That message going unanswered. Only silence. Only fear. The sun above Yilax burned a steady blue until the shadow came down. No fleet. No warning. Just one shape descending slowly into orbit, blotting out the light. The people of Yilax looked up and screamed, not because it was attacking, but because it wasn't it. Simply watched. Scene cut. Observation deck. Thalakari Outer Systems. Sensor Officer Harn tapped his console again and again. No signal, no power draw, no FTL wake. It's just there. Before them, filling half the view screen, was the EC Gravemind, the legendary Earth ship. It drifted like a tombstone through space. No windows, no visible weapons. Its surface shifted in impossible ways, like gravity couldn't decide where it belonged. And then, it spoke. Not through their COMMs. Into their minds. Deliver the 217, or your son dies first. Scene cut. Coalition emergency assembly chaos. We need to open negotiations. Evacuate central systems. They can't actually kill a Starcan. They in the center of the room. A young Pralethi scientist trembled. Her skin flickered with distress as she whispered, they've achieved Stellarlance tech. It's not theory anymore. I ran the data. They can shut down a sun's fusion cycle remotely. And worse. She didn't finish. Her screen lit up. One sun already dimmed. System. Do VAR-3. Population. 8.6 billion. Now dark. Scene cut to VAR 3. Post-event footage. No fire. No shockwave. Just a world frozen mid-breath. Cities. Entombed in sudden night. Oceans stilled under frost. Skies like black glass. From orbit, it looked peaceful. Like a sleeping planet. Like the dead often do. Scene cut aboard the Graverman Commander, Nyla Reyes, stood in silence within the dark bridge. Her crew spoke rarely, most commands handled by the AI Verta, which ran on protocols formed after the Ashfall Accordza, human doctrine crafted not in war rooms, but in morning halls. Behind her, the memorial wall updated silently. One more name from the list. Ambassador Schuliner, gone. Still 84 remained. Proceed, she said. The ship didn't accelerate, it didn't need to. Systems were already watching it, already submitting names. Every species across the galaxy had agents trying to locate the remaining 8 for just to avoid their own extinction. The Gravemind didn't hunt. It waited and worlds delivered. Scene cut. Hidden moon delivery. .14. A shuttle lands. Coalition agents push a bound Thalakari governor out into the dirt. I helped you. I voted for peace. A human soldier steps forward in matte black armor. Unarmed, you signed the order. Cygnus 9. Section 7. Line 3. I was told it was a mining operation. The soldier nods, calm, cold, compassionless. So were we. A single pulse. No mess. No spectacle. Another name crossed off. 83. Remain. The Gravemind drifting silently into a system, eclipsing the sun as planetary alarms wail across continents. Planetary leaders, watching stars dim through observatory glass as crowds panic in the streets. Entire species uploading names to anonymous networks, sacrificing their own to avoid becoming next. Pilgrimages to old Earth shrines across the galaxy left abandoned. Flowers frozen under vacuum domes. The Thalakari homeworld gleamed with war glory fleets in low orbit, anti-planetary guns armed, cities pulsing under crimson shields. They believed Earth wouldn't dare. They were wrong, because when the sun above Thalkar began to stutter, the panic didn't start in the sky, it started in the mirror. Scene cut. Coalition intelligence vault. Location redacted. A heavily encrypted message arrives at Earth's old allies, the few who haven't fled or turned. It's intercepted before it reaches its sender. A traitor. A warning. It was never supposed to go this far. It was a false flag. We provoked Earth on purpose, to unify the coalition against them. We thought they'd back down. We thought the rest of the message is corrupted, but the damage is done. The truth is out. Cygnus 9 was bait. The Thalakari planned the massacre to justify preemptive war with Earth. Instead, they woke something worse than war. They woke human memory. Scene cut. Thalakari Parliament. Dumb news spreads like a virus. Systems riot. Soldiers turn on commanders. Civilians scream for answers. Holograms of Cygnus 9 victims light up the sky. Replayed endlessly by rogue planetary AI. Impossible to shut down. Then the Gravemind appears in orbit. Not cloaked, not hiding, not giving options. No more warnings. And, with that, the sun flickers. Scene cut. Inside the Gravemind AI core chamber, the voice of Virga, Earth's strategic AI, echoes through the chamber. Feminine, inhuman. Deception logged. Unprovoked extermination of civilians confirmed. Coalition protocols void. Moral equivalence, 0. Reclassification, genocidal threat. Commander Nyla Reyes doesn't blink. Her eyes lock on the Thalakari system display. Initiate solar bloom. The command is whispered, but the sun hears it. Scene cut. Thalakari, high orbit. Visual slight. Bends. Gravity surges. The sun's core contracts and, then violently stalls. For 6 seconds, Thalkar knows what true darkness feels like. On the 7th, it begins to ignite outward, white-hot and blooming like a lotus of death, slowly, elegantly consuming planetary orbits with precision-engineered fusion pulses. Not a supernova, not chaos, surgical annihilation, a reminder. Scene cut. Coalition war room. Silence. Every remaining member watches, in real time. The Thalakari sun, once catalogued as Rovilix, disappears from star charts. A black mark. System purged. Gravemind Directive 6222. Admirals stare. Mouths open. Senators weep. Entire religions collapse in hours. The gravest mistake wasn't provoking Earth. It was assuming Earth had limits. Scene cut. Random broadcast on coalition civilian feeds. A figure appears. Not in armor. Not holding a weapon, just a human child. Standing in front of a field of flowers. The child looks into the camera and says softly, "You made us remember what it means to burn." Then fades away. No threats. No demands. Only memory. Only fire. The Thalakari sun, glitching like a broken flame on a candle before violently collapsing. Civilians seeing birds fall dead mid-flight as magnetic fields collapse. Children on distant moons, drawing the Gravemind in chalk, not understanding what it means but knowing it brings silence. Planetary leaders breaking down on live feeds as they realize Earth didn't just retaliate, they judged. His name was last on the list, not by accident, by design. High strategist Vern Carrick's, the architect of the Cygnus 9 massacre, the one who issued the purge under classified channels, whose voice signed the death warrant for every man, woman, and child on that colony. And now, he was hiding inside a neutron fortress buried within the warped gravity shell of the Eridani Rift, shielded by collapsing stars, protected by physics themselves. Everyone said Earth couldn't reach him there. Earth never answered. They simply arrived. Scene cut. Eridani Rift. Outer orbit coalition observers watched helplessly as the Gravemind entered the rift. Not around it, through it, though no alarms, no radiation warnings, no gravitational dissonance. The impossible had become routine. Earth's ship moved where no ship should. That space is unnavigable. They'll collapse. They'll tear apart. Then came the sound, not a roar, not a pulse, a hum, deep, vibrating, resonating with the very bones of spacetime. The rift stilled. Scene cut. Neutron Fortress interior. Vern Carrick's, once proud strategist of the Thalakari Dominion, now hunched in a black command chair, whispering to himself. He had 3 rings of energy shields, 12 layers of sentient AI, and a dozen orbital kill satellites. Still, he was trembling, because outside his sealed vault, the lights had begun to flicker, and in his ear, something was breathing. Then came the transmission, not to him, but to every screen in the galaxy. The last entry. Named 217. Vern Carrick's last to speak. First to burn. Scene cut. Gravemind, drop team ready. Bather human specters. Earth's elite deep strike operators stood still, silent, dressed in exosuits coated with pluff. Each ripple a name from Cygnus 9, etched into their armor. No orders were spoken. They were not there to fight. They were there to finish. Scene cut. Inside the fortress, final confrontation. Doors opened with no explosion. Shields failed with no sparks. Vern stood alone as the lead specter walked toward him. Wait, Vern said, hands raised. I was given orders. I followed strategy. I never touched Earth's people personally. The specter stopped, removed their helmet. It was a woman, pale scars over one eye, expression unreadable. She held up a dataship. This was my sister. She inserted it into her armor. A holomage bloomed, a smiling girl with paint-covered hands, standing under 6 twin suns. She was an artist. You erased her. Carrick's dropped to his knees. I was serving the greater good. The specter leaned down. So are we. then silence. Scene cut. Coalition Council. Live feed. The feed cuts in. A wide-angle view of the neutron fortress collapsing in on itself, folding like origami into a single point of gravity, then blinking out. No explosion. No fanfare. Just finality. The list is complete. The Gravemind swimming silently through fractured spacetime, its hold distorting like a dream, Vern screaming in a vault as shadows move just beyond the light. The Spectre team walking untouched through fields of laser fire, systems failing in their presence. Coalition citizens watching the fortress collapse and wondering who might be on the next list. Across the galaxy, screens flickered one last time. No warning, no override signal, just a face. Hers. Commander Nyla Reyes, the voice behind the storm, the woman who never raised her voice because she never had to. This time, she spoke not in rage but in eulogy. Scene cut. Galactic broadcast. Final transmission. Commander Reyes stood in silence. Beneath the starlit sky, no background, no uniform, no warship behind her, only a plain earthen field, and 213 glowing lights floating behind her like soft lanterns. Each light pulsed gently, representing one soul lost on Cygnus 9. We never asked for retribution, she said softly. We asked to be left alone. We joined your galactic council. We opened our doors. We believed in shared future, shared peace. And when our people cried out, you heard them, then chose silence. Her eyes hardened, not cruel, not angry, just resolved. So we responded in your language. Absence, isolation, and finality. Behind her, the lights slowly began to blink out, one by one, until only one remained. She turned to it, touched it. You were 10. You painted the twin suns with your fingers. This was never vengeance. It was memory, made sharp. The last light faded. The screen cut to black. We remember who we are now. Do not summon us again. Scene cut. Gravemind final departure. The ex-Gravemind began to rise, leaving Thalakari space for the last time. Systems watched helplessly. No one dared follow. No one dared speak. Where it passed, ships powered down. Stars dimmed. Gravity shifted. No weapons. No threats. Just the sound of nothing. As the Gravemind vanished beyond known space, a new mark appeared on galactic maps. Earth exclusion zone. Level absolute. An entire sector turned red. And beneath it, only one directive. Broadcast on every known frequency. Do not follow. Scene cut. The aftermath piece returned. But not the same piece. Not the naive, hopeful alliance Earth once believed in. Now, the galaxy moved carefully. Coalitions fractured. Empires stepped down. Former warlords began planting gardens because they had seen something they would never forget. Not Earth's strength, but Earth's resolve. Children in alien academies now recited a single line in human standard. Respect the quiet ones, especially when they carry names. Scene cut. A forgotten moon. Years later, young alien girl Trilari, maybe 10 cycles old, stood in a museum built on the ruins of Cygnus-9. She stared at a single artifact in the center of the chamber, a child's finger painting preserved behind crystal glass. That it showed 2 suns, a field, a woman holding a little girl's hand. Why is this art in a war museum? She asked. Her teacher looked down, solemn. Because this is what started it all. And this is why it ended. The final broadcast echoing in the darkness as planets sit silent, listening like children after a bedtime warning. A galaxy-wide silence falling not out of fear, but out of respect. Statues, rising not of warriors, but of victims. Ships, flying past the red border of Earth space, always veering away, unwilling to test what might return.